And good evening. So Danny and I don't know each other that well, just so you guys, there's some people might think that we've known each other for years and years and years, and we don't. I just got to know Danny within the last few weeks, and one of the things that I realized immediately was he used to be a DJ on B96, and he was part of the whole Hot Mix crew, and you guys probably don't know this, but I DJ. And, but ours was different. We used to do a lot of dance parties and things like that, but a lot of the people that you hear, that if you guys remember, in the 80s, right? A lot of those DJs were DJs that started up actually out of Arizona. My cousin was one of them, but then moved out here, and that whole B96 thing became popular. So he was a DJ, and so we shared that common bond. Besides that, one of the things that he said to me immediately was that, you know, he's just sick and tired of the way things are being done and things that are going on, and he really wants to get involved. He really wants to get involved, and yeah, I kind of remember that. You gotta be careful because that can get you in trouble, my friends. So, you know, we've had a lot of crazy things going on. If you guys are involved in our politics, the politics, the GOP, the Republicans of Kane County, and so you've probably heard of things happening in different townships. Some people look at it as maybe a shake-up, and some people look at it as exciting, right? We've had sort of changing of guards. You know, we've had, I guess, out with the old and the new. And that's not to say that the old, you know, don't have their place, because they do. They've done a lot of work to bring us to where we're at. And so we have to learn from their positives, but we also have to learn from their mistakes. And so in doing so, we try to better ourselves. And you know what? The struggle is getting harder and harder. If you live in Kane County, and if you live in Aurora, you know that the tide has changed, right? We've gone a lot more blue. A lot of this is from people moving out of the city and out of different areas, and then they come here. And so you guys constantly hear that same old thing. You know, you move from a place where you created habit to bring it here, and then you keep on voting the same way. You know, and we don't get it. I'll never understand it, but that's what you're seeing. You're seeing that in Kane County. Now, what's worse about that whole situation is not the fact that they're coming here, they're moving here, they're bringing their ideas here, the Democrats, and they're voting that way. It's that we, the Republicans, the conservatives, haven't woken up and figured it out yet. That we stand idle, okay, and we don't bring the fight. And so we need to get out there. We need to really bring the fight out. We have a lot of wonderful people in our organization, grassroots, just people that will bring the fight out, and they will get out there every day, and they will march on the streets, and they will knock on doors. And then we have a lot of people that are great for a conversation. I mean, I could walk into a restaurant, I could go to a family party, and I could have a bunch of people come up to me and tell me about how bad it's become in Illinois, and all the taxes, and all the crime, and you know, all these Democrats, and they're crazy, right? And then when I ask them, did you vote? Oh no, why am I gonna vote? What chances do we have? Or, oh, I had to go to work, and I had this happen. So, to me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I mean, we had, what was it, Brian? It was 1,100, imagine this, Republicans who took the time out to apply for a vote-by-mail ballot, got the ballot sent to their house, and 1,100 of them still did not vote. Okay, so it's not that they had to get into their car and actually go to some voting place and stand in line. No, they actually had a ballot that they could have filled out. Heck, they could have called me. I would have picked it up and delivered it for them. 1,100 of them still did not vote. So that right there tells you what's going on. And so what do we need? We need people that are going to get involved. We need volunteers. We need people that really want to fight. We need new blood. We really do. We need new blood, okay? And the new blood has a tendency to sort of mix in with the old blood and maybe kick them in the butt a little bit and get them going, right? And so we started seeing it in Batavia. Rose is here. Where's Rose? We started seeing it in some of our other townships as well, but I really want to talk about your township. How many of you are actually here from Aurora? Okay. So Aurora's I think becoming that kick in the butt. Okay. These two fine gentlemen here. So I was asked to speak tonight, and I said to Pam, you better put something together for me, because I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to go with this, and I could ramble on and on, and my voice hasn't been all that great lately. But I want to start off, first of all, obviously, I'm glad that you guys are all here, okay? It's important that you're here representing not only our party, but you're here for the Aurora Township Republican Party, and that's a great thing. So I want to obviously share some great news, right? I've got these two wonderful gentlemen next to me here. Jaden, 18 years old. All right, guys, and he got in, and this kid jumps into Ubers. He shows up at our functions. He wants to get involved. There is not a single committee that I can't put together that he doesn't want to be involved. He just wants to do everything, right? And so he's like one of those that, 10 years from now, I'm going to be able to, when he's holding, maybe you take away the seat from Daniel Gassi or something like that, or maybe you become president one day, President. And I want to be able to say that, man, I saw that kid come in and it was like a rocket ship. So, Jaden's bringing a lot of momentum to Aurora. And now you got Danny here, who, and by the way, Jaden, you're Hispanic, okay? Which, I mean, it's Aurora, right? Aurora's got a heavy population of Hispanics, and you are what needs to be a reflection of what Aurora is, right? We need to reach out to the Hispanics, the minorities, Asians, whoever they are, and I think for me, you are the perfect person for that, okay? Because you represent, and you represent well. Then we have this other guy here, Danny. I'm going to say this. I apologize for Danny if he comes up a little rough around the edges, but I get it. I know where he's coming from, okay? There's a lot of built-in anger in there. He just wants to get it out, and I will tell you this. Just take it easy. Be careful, because I know, I get it. I know that Melrose Park, but you might say things that get you in the same hot seat that I get myself in. So, over the past few weeks, we've seen exciting leadership changes in Aurora Township. Our precinct committee persons recently elected new officers. Jaden Badillo, now serving as vice chair. Well, actually, you're serving as temporary chair right now, right? And acting chairperson. Jaden is both the youngest and first Hispanic American to hold a role in Aurora Township. His election is a power reflection of the community he serves. Aurora's population is 37.6% Hispanic, okay? Now, Kane County is 31.1%. That's 6%. That's quite a difference, okay? The thing is that he also represents a young Aurora, okay? The median age is 35.2 years compared to 38.6 years in Kane. So in other words, we're older in Camden and St. Charles. That's okay. Alongside Jaden, we also welcome my friend Danny. Now, Danny, you're Lebanese,
Syrian, and Assyrian.
I mean, we got a mix over here. It's like the United Nations over here. And he's the secretary there. Danny will bring real-world business experience from building a successful insurance company in Aurora and promoting entertainment events. And actually, we've already been talking about putting together a fundraiser rally for our candidates using that particular entertainment. His network and energy are exactly what we need to build a new team of PCs and reach new voters fast. All right, so we got these fresh faces that aren't just symbolic, they're already getting results, right? I know Jaden, you reached out to me earlier. Jaden and Danny are actively bringing in new precinct committee persons and setting the groundwork to grow our base. But Aurora's potential is still largely untapped, and that's where you come in. So, first of all, do you guys know what committeemen or PCs are? Precinct committeemen? Do any of you all know? Who knows what they are? Raise your hand. Okay. If you don't know, precinct committeemen are people like you within your own community. Your community is broken up into precincts, okay? And so that individual, that precinct committee person, is a person who is elected. It's actually, your name will get on a ballot once you get the petitions, and you represent that precinct. So you're the representative of, let's say let's say Aurora Precinct 1, for example, there's 1,000 Republican voters that actually went out and voted. You represent those 1,000 votes, okay? But not only that, but you're the one that's gonna be in charge of getting out there and knocking on those doors, getting more people out to vote, getting people involved, getting people excited to become part of our party so that we can achieve those things that you want to achieve, that you complain about, the problems within your community, and how to fix them, okay? So, get involved. If you're not, get involved. We'll find a way to keep you busy, and we've got a lot of things going on. Voter registration, I'm gonna give you a little bit about Aurora, just so you guys kind of know where we're at. 32% of Aurora's population is registered to vote, only 32%. In comparison to countywide, it's 58%. Kane is 58, so you're at 32. So there's obviously a massive opportunity to grow our base and to register new Republican voters. And I'm going to tell you guys something. There are Republican voters out there in Aurora. Your voter turnout, this is in 2024, presidential election. Turnout in Aurora was just 59%, far below the 74% average across Kane County. PCs on the ground can help close that gap. That's what we talk about, getting voters out, getting them registered. You got a lot of voters that are not registered. In 2024, Aurora voted 65% for Harris and 35% for Trump, while countywide the split was 55-45. That difference shows we're being outworked at the precinct level, and it's time to change that. The data gap is Nation Builder, shows only 7,699 Republicans in Aurora, okay? Yet 11,888 residents voted for Trump. That means thousands of Republicans aren't in our system, and we need your help to find them. So I guess it means that we got maybe some Democrats to vote, right? With renewed energy, leadership, and focus, Aurora Township has the potential to significantly move the needle for Republicans, not just locally, but across Kane County. Jane and Danny, they're not going to do this alone, okay? They've got to get help. They've got to get support. They've got to get our backing. They've got to get our help. Okay? They've got to get us to drive and push them. We work hard, but they're going to have to work hard, okay? And so we have to be the driving force. We need more committed volunteers to step up, becoming a PC, knocking on doors, making calls, helping fund our outreach efforts. Your involvement is the key to unlocking Aurora's Republican future. I will tell you that we do, we try to do a lot within the GOP with different committees. We try to do fundraising. We try to, we hold, we get involved in rallies, and we try to get ourselves out there, right? We get into the public. We help. I do a program I've been doing now. It'll be my 8th year with Lazarus House, where we raise money and we bring food and gift and items of paper towels, soaps, all this, and we do it usually right 2 days before Christmas. I know that there's, I believe Bob Kudlicki, St. Charles, they do a lot of work with the Salvation Army. Listen, there's groups in here, grassroots groups that have done tremendous work, okay? Not only in volunteer work, but getting out there and getting the word out, but also in fundraising and in charity raising, okay? And they need our help too, and they're great groups to get involved with. You guys have heard, we have Eagle Warriors. Dave Tomek, I believe you were working with a group as well, right?
What's that?
Was there an organization you were working with as well, or you were part of, or you would start?
The Barrio group, is that
The Barrio group with Dr. Renteria?
Yes.
And then, and when, of course, where's he at? He's running for lieutenant governor. There he is. There he is. just say to ourselves, look, I wanna make a difference, I wanna get involved, it's the same way I did. I didn't wanna just sign a piece of paper and that was it. I said, what else can I do? And we get behind these fine gentlemen here, reach out to them, send them an email, talk to them, go to their meeting. If you guys go to the Kane County GOP website, we have a calendar of events. It shows every township, when their meetings are, everything that's going on. We're gonna be at the Kane County Fairgrounds, we're gonna have a big booth over there, we got all sorts of stuff going on over there. You guys wanna get involved, help these guys out. Make them successful. You make them successful, they're gonna make Aurora Township successful. And guess what? We're gonna keep on winning. We're gonna win. We're gonna get wins, and we're gonna keep on winning. We're gonna make sure that Chris Lawson remains as our treasurer. We got Dr. Renteria there. With Lieutenant Governor, of course, there's also Sheriff Bender as governor, right? We're going after him, right? We're going after him, Mr. Future Governor, right there. Wow. So we're fighting between Bender and Dan. Have at it, guys. No, but I mean, Lou running for sheriff, right? Are going to be running for positions over here. They're going to need our support. They're going to need our help. We'll get past the whole primary part where we decide who's going to be the guy that's going to go. We'll work on that. Don't worry about that. But one thing I know for sure is that once we get our people, we got to get behind them. And to do that, you got to get involved in the township, and you got to get behind these two guys. All right? Did I talk long enough? That was beautiful.